This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah.
Good evening, dear members. Welcome to today's webinar on alternative revenues and cost management during downturns. I welcome today's faculty, Sri Robin Banerjee, who is a senior professional executive with over 35 years of experience. I also thanks all three branches, Bhuj branch, Gandhidham branch, and Anand branch for arranging such an virtual CP meeting in these days. Further, I request today's Bhuj branch chairman for his address. Over to Jitendra bhai.
Good evening to all of you. Economy is largely and badly affected due to the coronavirus in the current time. And this is the challenging time for the entire business community and industries community. So we have to learn and improve ourselves to find out some constructive and innovative solutions. So in such a situations, find out alternative way of the revenue, and the cost management plays a crucial role for growth and survival of any business and industries units. So, but it is important to how to manage it. So today, expert and experienced speaker, Sri Robin Banerjee with us to guide us on issues. So I welcome on behalf of Bhuj, Gandhidham and Anand branch today's speaker, Sri Robin Banerjee. Sir, welcome you, sir. Welcome you. And I also thankful Sri Robin Banerjee for sparing your valuable time for us. So thank you, sir. And I also welcome Joint Branch Gandhidham Branch Chairman Karan Thakkar and entire team. And I also welcome Bhavesh Thacker, Anand Branch and entire team. And I also welcoming all members, students who are joining this webinar. So I welcome you all. Welcome. And thank you.
Thank you. Further, I request Gandhidham branch Karan Thacker, chairman, for special address. Over to you, Karan bhai.
सबको बहुत बैठा है
आवाज नहीं आ रहा
Karan bhai, not audible.
आवाज नहीं आ रहा करण भाई
Good evening, every one of you, to the members of Gandhi. Friends, we have always known that people from Bengal are always great in terms of their intellectuals, artistic works, and also their knowledge on the literature. But every one of us that we are able to witness that today. Thank you, Robin sir, for being there with us. I'm sure that huge aspect that our money should make us earn money. It is not our hard work or the intellectual which should make us money after a few years of practice, or but our passive. Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes.
Audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
So friends, as we know that we believe that our capital should be earning passive income for us, but at point of time, this also applies to business when they are having their capital in terms of their machinery and everything, but they are not able to go in their mainstream. There has to be a substitute alternative stream available to them. We know that in COVID period, we have many such example that a manufacturing of textile unit have converted themselves into manufacturing of PPE kits, and therefore it is very important to look at the alternatives available to that. Lastly, I would request all the members to take very good their health, because we know that government has been pushing for Atmanirbhar Bharat, but believe me, the industry, the business community, the economy does in terms of advisory, readers in terms of consultancy, and therefore it is very important. We are having a social obligation also to keep ourselves upright, healthy, so that we can help the economy to be bring back on this track and grow. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sanjay bhai.
Thank you, Karan bhai, for a special address. Next, I would like to request CA Bhavesh Thakkar, Anand Branch Chairman, for introduction of our today's speaker. Over to you, Bhavesh bhai.
Good evening. It's my honor, privilege, and proud moment to formal introduction of today's speaker, Mr. Robin Banerjee. Sir is the Managing Director of Capri Hens India Limited. Earlier, he has served in several multinational global corporations in senior leadership positions, including Hindustan Unilever as GM, ArcelorMittal as MD, Thomas Cook Executive Director, SR Steel Executive Director, Suzlon Energy Group CFO, and Member of Board. Sir is a Chartered Accountant, Cost Accountant, Company Secretary, and AMCOM. He is the Chairman, Confidence of CII Western India for Finance and Taxation Committee for 2021. He is a member of the Board of Studies for Independent Directors, Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. Apart from being a whole-time director in a listed company, he is also an independent director in 3 other companies. Sir has earlier authored 3 books on indirect taxation, including one on moderate, which went into 10 editions. He has recently authored 2 best-selling business non-fiction books titled Who, Cheats and How, available in English, Hindi, and Marathi languages. With these few words, I welcome and introduce Robin Banerjee, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Bhavesh bhai. Sir, over to you, Robin sir.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. I'm humbled. I don't think I have the ability to speak to all of you. Most of you are more experienced than me. And I'm supposed to speak to you on how to maximize revenue and through cost control and cost effectiveness. Can I, it's like taking coal to the Newcastle. Talking to chartered accountants on maximizing revenue and cost control is obviously, to my mind, trying to teaching ABC to Shakespeare. So be as it may, that's being the challenge. I will first let me ask the question. Can you hear me? Is this voice okay and the sound looks good to you? Okay, good. Because this technology sometimes doesn't work.
Yeah, your voice is clear.
Excellent. I will divide my talk into 2 parts. While I am supposed to talk to you about maximizing revenue and also on cost control, but I was thinking that let's do the other way around. In my view, costing, cost accounting, cost control is a huge opportunity for chartered accountants. I'm a cost accountant myself, but I think we, the CS, have a significant edge in that genre of work. Now, I'm not going to explain to you the definition of costing, what is fixed cost, what is variable cost, what is marginal cost, what is standard cost. That's not the intent of my talk today. I want to tell you some stories. I want to tell you some stories of experiences which I have encountered in my life of cost control and how we, the CAs, can look at opportunities so that we can maximize the revenue of the organization for which we are clients for, or of our client firms, or for the companies which we are working for. If we maximize revenue for our clients, or we maximize revenue for our employer, willy-nilly the revenue gets generated for ourselves. We get promotion, we get more consultancy fees, we get appointed once again, over and over again. So I want to tell you some stories of cost control, because these stories perhaps will make the case more better than all that what is written in the cost accounting books. And of course, I know all of you would know the subject of cost accounting much better than me. I went to Germany as the managing director and CFO for a steel company, which is called ArcelorMittal, the world's largest steel company today. The German company, when I went there, was incurring losses. And I tried to, and Mr. Mittal personally, actually he called me to his London office and he said that this company needs to be turned around in 12 months. And that's where you are going. I used to work for Unilever at that time. There was no reason for me to leave Unilever. For whatever I thought it's a great opportunity. So when I went to the steel company, and believe me, Germans are known for their quality. So I was 100% sure that in quality there is no problem. There must be something else which is creating distracting value, destroying value for this organization. And you will not believe what was happening to that steel plant. It was a steel plant. They were rolling steel billets. So I figured out, or not I, it cannot be I, it is we figured out that one thing simple, that whenever an order was coming from a customer, the steel plant was not able to supply on time. Let us say the plant gets an order from a customer to be supplied on 15th of August. Now, they could either supply on 10th of August or 20th of August or 30th of August. They were not having an MIS, which typical we, the management accountants or chartered accountants, talk about, to track on-time delivery. So what we developed is that if 15th August is a day on which the customer desires to have the material, 14th August and 16th August plus minus 1 day will be termed to be 100% delivery on time. If it is plus minus 2 days, then every 1 day extra, the 5% of that it goes down. So, and our objective was we will be 95% on time, which means the company can have plus minus 2 days delivery time only, no more, no less. And it was never tracked. When we started tracking, we found that on-time delivery percentage about 65%, which means 35%, 1/3 of the material of the steel plant was being supplied outside plus minus 10 days. Now, why should a customer ever order material from a plant which does not supply on time? And customer doesn't know whether I will get on time, or why should he or she order from ArcelorMittal? It so happened the next door plant was ThyssenKrupp. You must have heard of ThyssenKrupp Steel. The next door plant was ThyssenKrupp. So obviously the orders were go to Thyssen. And once we started tracking this, which is very simple, of course it took time. I think it took about 8 to 9 months to figure out what went wrong, especially when it's a German language and I knew English and I didn't know German to start with. When we started tracking, believe me, within 60 days, you will not believe it actually. Well, it's in the public domain, I think. In 60 days, the on-time delivery came to 90%. And the rest is history. Because the moment the on-time delivery started happening, the customers were willing to pay $5 to $10 more orders started coming in, and the company, believe in me again, the company started making profit within 18 months of my joining. Now, I didn't do it. It's a team which did it. But I'm giving an example as to how the finance team focusing on how to improve profitability works. And this has nothing to do with cost control. This is efficiency drive. I'll give you another example, another story. When I used to work for Unilever, or Hindustan Lever as it is called, or it used to be called earlier, I used to be the CFO for the exports business. And one of our business and exports was basmati rice. You must have heard of something called Indus Valley rice. You may have heard. Indus Valley was a popular rice. And Unilever, just imagine, Unilever was incurring losses in this business. Of course, they used to earn so much profit in soaps and detergents and shampoos that this loss in basmati rice business was being obviously hidden. So we figured out within about 6 months, I think, or 4 to 6 months, that why was basmati rice incurring losses? You are aware that basmati rice is sourced only from the foothills of Himalayas. There is nowhere else in the world basmati rice is grown. It's only in India and Pakistan. There is no one else, and in the foothills of Himalayas, and one of the best places where it is Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh and Haryana to some extent. And we figured out that the rice which is getting sourced was actually getting sourced from the wrong paddy fields. As simple as that. The paddy fields from which the rice was getting sourced, one, it was costing more, And two, it had an inner odor. So whichever customer is to buy Indus Valley rice, they were not buying the second time. They wouldn't complain, but they didn't like the smell. Sometimes you will find that the rice is smelling. There is an inner odor. And if you get an inner odor, chances are of you to buy that one rice once again would be very, very limited. So by changing, and this happened in 1997, 1998, by the way, the first example happened in 2001, 2002. So by changing the source from which the harvested rice was being sourced, changed the business forever. Incidentally, the basmati rice business became profitable since then because it was a very simple solution which had to be made. I'll give you another example, another story as to how cost control or finance team can add value to your clients. I was also for some time the CFO for the chemicals and fertilizer business. And the fertilizer business, this was 1994 to 1996. The fertilizer business was under something called a price surveillance, not price control, but a price surveillance, which means the government of India used to give that time an ROI, the return on investment. So if your cost is X, you can maximum get 12% ROI return. That's it. And the fertilizer business was not making profit, was not making adequate profit. It was making some profit because you were getting 12% ROI. Being a finance person, we tried to look at as to how to maximize the business profit. And believe me, there was a simple solution. Think of ROI, numerator versus denominator. If you can increase the denominator, naturally the numerator will go up because government is going to give you 12%. So the denominator is 100, I will get 12 rupees. Somehow if I can make the denominator 100 to 150, instead of 12, I will get 18 rupees. And in a large company like Hindustan Lever or Unilever, you can well imagine the fixed assets were allocated to various businesses because there was no identified fixed assets all the time. And when we changed the allocation basis between fertilizer business and non-fertilizer businesses, the investment went up and the ROI went up automatically. And therefore, by simple, I would say, financial engineering, the business profitability moved up almost instantly. I'll give you another example. I joined Thomas Cook as the executive director. This happened in 2004 to 2006. And I realized that the concept of this business or the structure of the business is no longer valid. Because why should people come to a brick and mortar shop? Why should people come to a brick and mortar shop to buy a ticket? Because that time already online booking has started. Today, online booking, everything happens online. So the brick and mortar shop in a travel business doesn't make any sense. You will not believe that up to 2005, Thomas Cook did not have a travel website. So what we did is actually recruited a kid.
Hello, sir, your voice is not coming. So can you unmute, please?
I think it got muted centrally. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So I was giving an example of Thomas Cook. Did you hear up to that, the Thomas Cook example?
Yeah, so just you were saying about opening in overseas operations.
Yes. No. In Thomas Cook is a holiday company, as you know. And this was 2004, 2006. Because it's a holiday company, we had to understand that is the business still relevant? And we realized that with the internet booking starting, the people are not coming as much to the brick and mortar shops to buy tickets. The only option, therefore, to go to online. It's good to go online, but how do you go online? Because 2004 to today's 2020, 15 years before, online wasn't known and online was not the way to do businesses at that point of time, but it was coming. Youngsters were already started booking on the internet and mom's tickets and dad's ticket, and people were not coming to a Thomas Cook shop anymore. So what we did realize that we had to start online booking. That's very nice. But how do you do it? So a simple solution we did, we got a person, the head of internet, e-business of Indian Railways, a government employee, a gazetted officer. We pinched him. Simple. Of course, you can only pinch him by paying him adequate financial returns. And of course, Thomas Cook those days was one of the very aspired jobs. So he joined, and the rest is history. Again, the business was going down. We figured out a very simple solution, that we understood that we have to join the one bandwagon, get into the internet. But how do you do it? A pinch a person from the competition, which was that time Indian Railways. I gave you 4 examples so far. One is the steel plant, where the matching or mapping the on-time delivery made a difference. The example of basmati rice, Hindustan Unilever, where sourcing of rice, the basmati made a difference, basmati paddy. The next example of fertilizer, where financial engineering of the definition of investment made a difference to the profit. And number 4, Thomas Cook, where getting into another line of business made a difference. It has not ended. When I joined Suzlon as a group CFO and the member of the board, it was in 2009 and 2011. The company wasn't doing too well. In fact, that point of time, the Suzlon was 5th largest renewable energy company in the world. It became 3rd largest by 2012. Of course, today it's not doing too well because of the renewable energy business struggle in the renewable energy business. But what we realized is the way to maximize return in a wind business is to capture more wind and convert more power from the wind or breeze. And it is common knowledge, as you can well imagine, that higher you go, more is the breeze, as you know. If you are in the 1st floor of a building, the breeze is less. If you're in the 10th floor of the same building, the breeze is more. So the only way perhaps to do is to increase the size of the tower. So those days, the tower size was about 65 meters, and we started working towards an engineering drawing, which the towers would be 120 meters. And the moment the company started doing that, which was actually in 2012, 2013, the R&D department could crack it, this company started making more profit. Again, it was not financial engineering. It was, to my mind, simple use of financial logic as to how a company can start making profit. I'll give you some small example of the current company where I work and I run, which is called Capri Hands. When the COVID hit the company, which was in April 2020, 3 months before or 4 months before, we wanted to think that what can be done to this business, because we don't know what's going to hit us tomorrow. And we realized that the PPE suits, the hazmat suits, the suits which are the COVID workers or the doctors and nurses are wearing, is made of something called a non-woven fabric. Non-woven fabric, I don't know whether you are aware of non-woven fabric. You must have seen the white color dresses they wear or the blue color dresses where they wear. These are all non-woven fabric. And Capri Hands is a PVC manufacturing company. So we started thinking, and PVC is used all over the world for making raincoats. You know, raincoat? All over the world, the raincoat is made of PVC. So we started engineering ourselves, saying, why can't raincoats or PVC be used for making the PPE suits? World over, nowhere in the world PPE suit is made out of PVC. Believe in me, we have launched, and you will soon find in the Amazon and the website is already there, PPE suits, which is made of PVC film. Again, a matter of financial engineering, using your strength to do something where there is demand, because PPE was never sold in India or in the world, because PPE started selling only when COVID hit us. PPE is a suit which affects virus from coming into the body. And you will also not believe in that we have now done research to figure out that if you have a PPE suit made of PVC, you are 100% protected from virus, 100%. Whereas if you are wearing a non-woven suit, you are not 100% protected. You may be 90% protected or 80% protected. Just imagine the risk that mankind is going through. Even one virus entering the body through the suit can kill a doctor or kill a nurse. And that's exactly what is happening today. The PPE suits they are wearing are not safe. I will not get into more and more examples, because these stories of various financial engineering, all led to either cost control or enhancement of revenue or profits. My purpose of sharing the 6 stories, personal stories, were to explain to all of you that each business, even the best of the companies of business, best of your clients, best of your employer, there are tremendous opportunities for cost optimization, profit optimization and maximization, and adding value to the bottom line. You know, when we talk about cost control, cost accounting, my submission to all of you is that you should focus on something called management information system. That's, you know, most employers and most clients look at a chartered accountant as their doctor. Let us say that you are having a stomach pain. You go to a doctor. The doctor sees your stomach, gives you a stomach pain medicine. But the doctor did not see anything else. But the stomach pain perhaps was because of your gas, which was being generated in your lungs and in your throat. If the doctor doesn't look at you holistically, you will not go to the doctor again. And in many times it has happened, I'm quite sure to many of us, that you go to a doctor looks at the problem which you suffered from and did not take a holistic view. And most of the time, those doctors can never be a successful doctor. My dear friends, a chartered accountant is a doctor of an organization. When you go to an organization, somehow you need to identify what is the problem that company is suffering from. Costing, cost reduction, cost optimization, in my view, is one of the small subsets. One small subset. I give you 6 examples. It had all the, I would say, peripheries or opportunities from everywhere else, but everything was business and common sense. Because we understand finance and we understand money. So, management information system is an area where if you can focus on, how do you focus on management information system? What does it mean? Many of you have large clients, some of you don't. Many of you have large employers, some of you don't. Based on your experiences, my submission to all of you is that does the management team have a simple monthly dashboard which provides all the important ingredients as to how the organization is doing? The dashboard should capture the opportunities to maximize return and reducing cost. In this area of dashboard making, my submission to you, all of you, is if you can learn artificial intelligence. This, to my mind, is the biggest weapon which the chartered accountants have to maximizing revenue. Artificial intelligence and management information system, to my mind, goes hand in hand. Today, ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence is being handled by the IT people. Why do you think the artificial intelligence has not developed the way it should develop? It's still struggling. It is nowhere there what it should have been. Artificial intelligence linked to another word called big data. These 2 words can change the way you are giving advice to your clients, can change forever. The clients are looking to you to be a doctor, to tell them that what is it going wrong and what can happen tomorrow. So if you can somehow interpret the data which the company is getting, and you can superimpose some artificial intelligence, sky is the limit. Of course, artificial intelligence and big data is something which is available or maybe useful for people who are in mid sector or large companies. If it is smaller organization or SME sector, I don't think these two are relevant. What is relevant is that you must have a proper costing system. I knew a person who is actually in Mumbai, who is the India's third largest manufacturer of furniture for R&D center, laboratory furniture for laboratory. So he asked me, he was incurring losses as usual. I think it's a company which is 65 or 70 crore turnover at SME and a small scale business, but third largest company of laboratory furniture. So I went to the company. I went and saw, and of course, when one goes there, it's very difficult to make out all the problem which is happening. So I asked a question. It so happened that I asked the right question. I asked that, okay, there was a table on display, a furniture on display, and asked him, the chairperson, who is the owner, said, what is the price of this table? He said 45,000 rupees. And the next question I asked, being a financial person, I asked him, okay, 45,000 is a sales price. What does it cost? What is the cost of this? He said, I don't know. Just imagine a 65 crore company, the chairperson is selling, his only business is to sell furniture, laboratory furniture. He did not have a costing mechanism to figure out the per furniture cost. It is as simple as that. It so happened that he was incurring 7,000, 8,000 rupees loss on every furniture he was selling. He did not have a costing mechanism. He should have sold at 55,000 because his cost was 52,000 and not at 45,000. Because he was doing a costing mentally. Itna labor jayega, itna wood jayega, fatafat karke, cost will be 45,000 is fine. 40,000 cost, 45,000 I sell, it's fine. But it doesn't work that way. So my submission to you is MIS, have an appropriate costing. If the organization is large, get into big data and artificial intelligence. It's a huge opportunity which you can really do a great deal on that work. Now I go into little more areas of where I think chartered accountants can optimize revenues, and that's the purpose of the talk today. And one of this aspect is to look at costing differently. The second aspect where I think there is a huge opportunity, my dear friends, is to work with startups. The startup ecosystem is a huge ecosystem which is in India for the last 2 to 3 years. And when you look at startups are looking for doctors. And who else can be a doctor than chartered accountants? Who else? Who can be a startup doctor? An engineer? No, an engineer does not understand finance, accounts, businesses. It is you, ladies and gentlemen, every one of you on this call. You can be a startup doctor, and startup needs you. And if you can somehow give the startup the right advice, they will be a client for life for you. Client for life. I go into the third aspect and then come to the second. And I have already told you, because you need to be a doctor. Therefore, you need to be a holistic doctor. You have to understand the business in holistic manner. Please do not tell yourself that I am a tax expert. Humko to income tax aata hai. I only understand GST. I am an internal auditor. I am a tax expert and I'm a statutory auditor. My dear friends, with folded hands I'm saying, maybe you will not like what I'm saying the next sentence. Those days are gone. Those days of GST. After 5 years, please think what will happen to GST after 4 or 5 years. Will it still exist the way it is existing today? Will tax returns be existing today? Today already government has started pre-filling the forms. The GST will be pre-filled with the IT and the IoT, Internet of Things coming up. Most of these things will be taken over by the IT colleagues and IT friends, and it will be ITized. If that is so, where do we stand? Where does a chartered accountant stand? The chartered accountant stand because no one can interpret a business like us. No one can. And moment you start interpreting the business problem, which is holistically purchasing, sourcing, manufacturing, making, selling, marketing, HR, IT, logistics, legal, and of course, financing and accounting and costing. We can learn all of this. Most important, my dear friends, you have to tell your mind that I am going to understand all of this together. Most of the time, we don't understand or we don't wish to understand because say, no, I'm a chartered accountant, I'm a tax expert, I don't care. This is not going to work anymore. Even if it works, maybe it will work for a few years, but we are talking about maximizing revenue. Why have you thought of why is McKenzie? Why does McKenzie ask for a 2% fee for a 22 days working or 1 crore? Can a chartered accountant ask for a 1 crore fee per month or a 50 lakhs per month? We cannot. 50 lakhs fee is a McKenzie partner fee. Because when you appoint a McKenzie, you can be rest assured that you are going to get a holistic solution. Ladies and gentlemen, think of a holistic solution provider. Be the business doctor. So, startup is an area where if you can help them to fulfill the demand. Who is a startup? Normally, who is a startup entrepreneur? He or she will be an engineer, typically 24, 25, 27 years of age, lot of vision and extremely intelligent. But he or she will not understand anything of how to source the money, from where to source the money, how to utilize it, what is the logistics challenges, what is the purchasing, what is the sales to be done, what's the marketing. He would not understand. He or she will understand definitely either the marketing bit of it or the technology bit of it. Chances are that he would not understand everything. We have to go and handhold him. So far, ladies and gentlemen, I have spoken to you about 3 things. The costing aspect is a huge opportunity. Look at this costing or cost accounting or MIS in a different light, how we can add value to my clients and to my employer. Second, MIS, big data, artificial intelligence, a dashboard, making an MIS in a way by which the company can optimize its profits. Third, a simple costing system. Most organizations don't have a costing system which works. Every product is sold must have a cost before you sell something. And organizations which don't have, and I'm sure many of you will be already providing your advices to people who doesn't have costing mechanism, costing system, which is worthwhile. Startup is a huge opportunity for all of us. And the fifth is, and the next one is, please be a holistic manager. Having said that, there is one more area where I think there's a lot of opportunity for chartered accountants. Contrary to the popular belief, we the chartered accountants are signing balance sheets and profit and loss account. So we are supposed to be the corporate governance expert. But as the world is going on, the world is now having more and more frauds. The world is having more and more frauds. And the frauds are becoming larger, bigger, and deeper. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, forensic is a huge opportunity. Forensic. Many of us are perhaps think that forensic is not something which I can understand, which I can do. It is not difficult. Forensic is all about common sense. We understand data. We understand accounts. We understand figures. So chartered accountants are the most suited to understand if there is a fraud which has taken place, where the fraud has taken place. So as the world goes, in fact, post-COVID, the cyber crime has gone up significantly, and maybe I'm sure all of you know because you are all in the business. Cyber crime has gone up, and therefore again, forensic audit and forensic skills will become very relevant as we go along. My submission to you is, my dear friends, all of your chartered accountants, what is it tomorrow? Can we paint a picture? Can we paint a picture for us 5 years or 10 years down the line? There is this COVID situation, which is extremely difficult. Companies have closed down. Many of our clients must have shut. Clients are not able to pay us money. Many of us have jobs where maybe the employer is not paying us enough. So that just started from about mid of March. It's already 4 or 5 months. April, May, June, July. Now it's August. It's already been in the 5th month. All of us, each one of us we have to reinvent ourselves in part of what we are doing, what is our skill set. And in this skill set, we have to think that what am I doing and what I am doing today, is it relevant for tomorrow? I am again saying, and you may not, I'm sure some of you will hate me for this, that you are a GST expert. My dear friends, will GST be valid after 5 years? Will this profession of GST, like say indirect taxation, you were a sales tax expert or excise expert, fortunately you got into GST. Now after GST, what? If the GST becomes all computerized, then what do you do? And GST is king. I am the finance committee chairman of CII of Western India, so I know what the government is thinking. They all want to automize everything. That there will be a vendor who has a GST invoice, and automatically it will get matched to the central server system that someone has bought it as seller, and the buyer invoices will automatically get matched. It is today difficult, so therefore you and me are all preparing various types of formats and forms. But once if it becomes computerized, where do we stand then? So my submission to you is, why can't you create a mini McKenzie? There are these big 4 or big 5 or big 10, fine, let them be where they are. And then there is a whole lot of gap. Can we start a mini McKenzie? Now, what does it mean? Can we have a system where, and we are talking about revenue maximization, and that's an idea which I'm trying to share with you. Can we have, my chartered accountants, one of us, we take one engineer, and perhaps we take one marketing person, 3 of you. Can you start a consultancy? Or maybe 4, you can have 4, an HR person or a legal person maybe, or an IT person. All 3 or 4 of you have different skill sets and start a mini McKenzie. This is called, I open a business hospital where there are 4 specialists or 3 specialist doctors. I have one finance doctor, I have an engineering doctor, and I have a marketing doctor. Whatever problem, these 3 doctors will go to your company, spend time with you, and come up with your solution as to what we believe is the malady and what is the medicine we need to give you. Should you take a crocin, a paracetamol? Do you need an antibiotic, or do you need a steroid? My dear friends, a time has come where all of us have to rethink as to my structure of business which we are doing, the areas which we are working on, and the skill sets which we have. One area which I did not talk to you about is blockchain. Again, an excellent skill set. Blockchain, again, I'm explaining to chartered accountants, I hope all of you know that blockchain is a technology where it's all about ledger accounting. Let's say there are 12 independent ledgers which will track a particular transaction. Blockchain is ideally suitable for logistics, suitable for hospitals. Blockchain can identify which bed is being emptied in a hospital, which bed the doctor is going, which bed the doctor is suggesting medicine, which bed is being subjected to an operation, because anything you do on a bed, you maximize revenue. Today, the technology is not able to capture the concept of each bed or each patient. Blockchain can do that, and blockchain can do that online and without chances of a fraud. So, because there are independent ledger accounts which is getting maintained in blockchain. Blockchain today is a great instrument, but till today it has not become popular. Why it has not become popular? Because today the blockchain is being handled by IT people. Now, IT does not understand the ledger system. So while those IT guys are struggling with it, if we, the chartered accountants, get into the blockchain concept, we will be able to optimize blockchain almost overnight. Blockchain has 2 components. One is a cryptocurrency component, which is a Bitcoin equivalent. I hope you know there are 2,000 types of cryptocurrencies already in the market. And the other is all business related. It could be warehouse, it could be logistics, it could be hospitals, it could be banking. All these areas looks that there are a lot of promise, but things are not improving or making significant progress because we, the chartered accountants, have not gone into it. That's another huge revenue maximization opportunity, blockchain technology. So apart from the fact that the big data, artificial intelligence, which I spoke to about, blockchain is surely, do not miss on that. Holistic knowledge, holistic approach to your client, be a doctor, MIS, do some sort of a data, a broad picture as to what is how is the company doing, and startups are something which you should work on if you can. And lastly, of course, is that if three or four of your friends, one of you will be you, or maybe two of you yourself, can create mini McKenzies in India. The moment you do that, sky's the limit. So, on a webinar, to continue to speaking, seeing a camera is not easy. So I have already spoken for 47 minutes, or 46, I think. I think it's nice that if I can have questions, then maybe we can take this discussion forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely talking to you so far.
Sir, how the cost reduction is important, and in whether it is viable in this scenario, and in which area it's possible product?
No, Jitendra, I couldn't hear you. I think you cracked.
Yeah. Sir, my question is regarding cost reduction or cost management in a particular factory or particular business communities. So how is the important, and how, in which area we can reduce the cost?
Cost reduction is always the sweet spot for an entrepreneur. It's called the sweet spot. They love if a chartered accountant can come and reduce cost. They love it. So cost reduction is definitely an area where we, the CS, can work. I don't think, and I'm a cost accountant myself, again saying that cost accountants are as good. It definitely, the CS can do a much better job. I don't think there is any other competition for us. So cost reduction is surely a fantastic area. Cost has two aspects, as you know, variable cost and fixed cost. So variable cost is where these are, we most of the time we try to attack the fixed cost, but the hidden opportunity is there in the variable cost. And variable cost hidden opportunity is nothing else but productivity, the yield. That means if 1 kg of input, or say, let's say 10 gram or 10 kgs of cotton should give 1 meter of cloth. If I can make 1 meter of cloth instead of 10 kgs of cotton, 9 kgs of cotton, immediately my yield goes up and the cost goes down. So most of the time, whenever we talk about cost control or cost efficiency, we go for the fixed cost, the salaries, wages, the office cost, the traveling cost. That is something which will never give you big ticket. Is a variable cost which will give you big ticket. It's an excellent opportunity, no question about it, no question. So surely it's a great idea what you just said. I agree with you.
Sir, you said that everyone should try to become a good consultancy firm. Of course, everybody wants to be there in the sweet spot. But sir, to have that journey or to begin with, or the initial phase, can you sir give few tips that how one can try to get into it, and how one can try to balance the platform, because in the initial phases it becomes difficult for an a new practitioner or a new venture entrepreneur in that.
Everything in life new is difficult. When you started walking, you ask your parents how difficult was it when Karan started walking. How many times did Karan fall down? Ask your mom. And she will say, oh my God, Karan was falling down every day. Or Karan wasn't even walking. And Karan now can run, can sprint. And Karan has forgotten that Karan used to fall when Karan started walking. My dear sir, when you start, there will be a problem. And therefore, it is good to have some crutches. So if you three, four of us start together, three, four you start together, you know, somebody's weak point will be covered by somebody else. And therefore, I'm saying, ideally, we Indians don't like partnerships, or partnerships don't work for us. But if it has worked for McKenzie, if it worked for Bain and Company, it has worked for BCG, why will it not work for Karan and Company? It should work for everybody. It's a mindset. So you have to start somewhere. Start with an SME, a company which is closed. वो closed company को बोलो, sir आपका तो company तो closed है. Can I try to see revive? Can I revive something? And because we people are very intelligent, believe me, if 2 or 3 of you go, you will find 100 areas of improvement. 100. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, because the entrepreneur does not look. They do not have the ability to look beyond their pond. It is like a frog in a well. The frog feels that the whole well is the world because they haven't seen outside the well. Even when Mr. Donald Trump became the president of America, the only country which he visited before he became the president of America was Canada. And Canada and America, the distance is 1 kilometer. So therefore, I feel that it is a time that, whatever Karan you are doing, you continue to do. No problem. You are doing something, I'm sure you're doing something that is giving you regular cash. Let it continue. Can we start something extra in the side? If you are working somewhere, I cannot say you work and do a business. I can't say that. Overtly, I can't say. Covertly, I will say, why not? Why not? You can, perhaps. And therefore, look at it. Areas like Gujarat, where you guys are, it is the fulcrum of business. It is a fulcrum of entrepreneurship. COVID have given so much of trouble to businessmen. Can we all get together, 3, 4 of you get together and start suggesting solutions to these businessmen who are suffering today? And they will keep you for a consultant for life, because they will bless you and say, Karan and Company, be with us forever. It will work. Believe me. First, we have to understand and tell ourselves, can I do it? If you think, yes, I can, you will. There is a book called The Secret. Have you heard of the book called The Secret? If you ever can, read the book. In fact, it's a video also. You can go to the YouTube. Whenever these books, which is so-called motivational books, what is motivation? What is a motivational book? And what is these Gurujis, these saints come and tell? They tell you 2 simple things, and that's all which makes your life different. One, if you want, you get it, which means if you desire, if you desire that humko karna hai, it automatically happens. If you desire, it works, it happens. Number 2, give love, unconditional love to everybody. Love will come to you automatically. Don't think, oh, that fellow does not love me, she does not love me, he does not love me. Nobody has to love you. You love others, automatically the world will love you. So these are the two fulcrum on which this whole motivation ecosystem works. One, you believe in yourself system and go ahead and it works. Number 2, give love unconditionally, it will work. The world will be at your feet.
Thank you, sir, for those words.
Anybody else have a question? Any member? Hello.
There is
Sajid, you're audible.
Anybody has a question? They can ask.
There is a good news that lack of question has 2 understanding. One, nobody understood what I said, which is a very good outcome of it. And the second outcome is it was so clear that there is every question which people had, everything is answered. So I'm sure none of this is true. First one could be by whatever I said, people couldn't understand. It is obviously possible. But it would be nice to, if you have any questions, because the topic is esoteric. How do we maximize ourselves? My dear friends, I'm telling you, we, the chartered accountants, are sitting on a tipping point. You may not like what I'm saying. We are sitting on a tipping point. And that tipping point is not in our favor. Tipping point is not in our favor. You may not like it what I'm saying. Because the whole concept of indirect and direct tax is getting computerized very fast. The world is getting very fast. Accounting, when I was a kid, there used to be trial balance to be prepared. Then there were Hollerith machine, there were accounting machines. Today there is SAP and Oracle. Already half of the work of accounting community has gone to this ERPs. Just think, SAP and Oracle are spending millions of dollars, billions of dollars to automate the accounting completely. A transaction aayega, balance sheet nikal aayega. We will only be doing interpretation of that. Again, accounting work is going away. Auditing work, moment it is accounted, already SAP and Oracle has taken up much of our audit work, for sure. There's vouching and ticking and vouching work is gone. Already work has gone. And when I was an article clerk, I used to tick and vouch. The voucher used to come and I used to tick. That's gone, almost gone. Then GST and income tax, that's getting automated. Please try to think what is going to happen to us after 10 years. Karan, Jitendra, you people are all young. What will happen after 20 years? What will happen after 30 years? And that's what I was trying to talk to you today. And unless we reinvent ourselves, we all have to reinvent and think now and think what will happen after 10 years. Create something which is valid after 10 years or 20 years. IoT is a fact of life. Cryptocurrency is a fact of life. Big data is fact of life. There's no point in criticizing it. When NFRA came, NAFRA came, I hope you know, National Financial Reporting Authority came, which is now reporting over the Institute of Chartered Accountants. The whole Institute of Chartered Accountants, all CAs, everybody of us started complaining, how can we be looked after by NAFRA? Who are they? Who is Government of India? Did Government of India listen to us? No. There is now a body above us already. Why the body is above us? Have you asked yourself the question? Why there was nothing for 72 years and it had to be created? Because we goofed up. We goofed up. And we should not give that opportunity that our profession being taken away or hijacked by someone else. Who can hijack our profession? And IIM MBAs. The MBAs, the big institutes, MBAs, the XLRIs and IIMs of the world, they have same intelligence as we are. They are also learning finance. They're also learning accounting. So what is that we are special, which they don't know and we know? And that's how we have to distinguish ourselves. Lawyers are taking away our jobs of mergers and acquisition. Due diligence work. Due diligence work chartered accountants used to do. Now audit lawyers are doing. We used to do mergers and acquisition work that lawyers are doing. Because there are BCom, MCom lawyers who are taking over the work. Why? Because we are not doing a good job, which we should have done. We should be M&A specialists. We should be due diligence specialists. So please think of 10 years later, because we are talking about maximizing revenue, your thoughts will become very clear. 10 साल बाद हम क्या करेंगे, 20 साल बाद हम क्या करेंगे. And then you will be able to work on the superstructure. I'm always available, whatever little knowledge I have. My phone call, I will write down my phone call on the chat. If you think I can be of any help, I'm happy to do so. Little knowledge I do. But you guys all have to think of yourself as to what is tomorrow. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is not looking so good unless we reinvent ourselves. It's a clarion call for all of us. I'm not going to last in this world too long. All of you will be. You are the future of India. You are the future of our profession. So Jiten and Karan, don't think हमारा क्या होगा. मैं तो कभी किया नहीं. So what? कर लेंगे, हो जाएगा, बिल्कुल होगा. We have passed the hardest exam of the world. The chartered accountancy exam in India is the hardest in the world. We have crossed the hardest, the most difficult bridge. Why we cannot cross other bridges?
Sir, CA as an entrepreneur, how do you think this comes as a you are passed through journey of the as a you are now the managing director of companies. So how the chartered accountant can see these opportunities?
The moment a chartered accountant thinks holistically, we can think as an entrepreneur. Do not think I'm a tax expert. I'm an internal audit expert. The moment you start thinking, that is your end. The beginning is I am an entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur? What is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is someone who converts a problem into an opportunity. And moment you start thinking as an entrepreneur, we have that ability. We have that ability to provide a 360 degrees view to anybody. So it is very easy for us to become an entrepreneur because we understand money. We understand how to make profits. We understand how to calculate profits. Make profit, choro, but I have to calculate profit. Believe me, an engineer does not understand how to calculate profit. You will be surprised. Such brilliant mind, but they don't. I told you that man who is India's third largest manufacturer of lab equipments did not know the cost of the table. Simple. He did not think that इसको costing करना चाहिए. उसको दिमाग में cost आया तो cost करा दिया. 55,000 rupees उसका cost था, 40,000 रुपया लेके चल रहे थे. और he was incurring losses. Simple. Believe me, in my experience, I have realized that these brilliant engineers, brilliant marketing people do not understand revenue, cost, and profit. They don't understand. We understand. And that is a single advantage which we want to take advantage of.
Because this is the turnaround time, and we have now lots of opportunities there, because nowadays the entire business environment is changing.
Absolutely, lots of opportunities. I think this COVID is good for us. If the COVID would not have happened, the ecosystem would not have given so much opportunity for us. People have gone bankrupt. Companies have gone bankrupt. The startups are going to start again. Everybody needs money. Everybody needs money. किसको पास आएगा पैसा लेने के लिए? Financing करने के लिए? हम ही तो बोलेंगे ना. Chartered accountants will give them the solution how to do the financing, how to do equity financing, how to do debt financing, how to moratorium किसको structure करना है, कैसे करना है, हम ही तो बताएंगे. कौन बताएगा? Actually, बोलना नहीं चाहिए थे, but I think COVID has given us a new lease of life to we the chartered accountants. We must take it and move forward holistically. It's a new lease of life for all of us.
Thank you, sir.
The silence means that, my God, what a disastrous picture.
Sir, I have one question. Sir, you talk about this dashboard. So, can you elaborate which item we should consider in dashboard?
Dashboard.
Yes, sir.
You are talking about dashboard. See, yeah. Dashboard is a whole MIS which will only give 5 or 6 items. What is an entrepreneur interested? Sales, cost, profit or loss. Fourth is working capital, debtors, unrealized debtors, and inventory which is lying. 5 things every entrepreneur is interested. They are not interested in anything else. After current asset, fixed asset, current liabilities, fixed liability, debt, equity, they are not understand. They are not even interested. So, whenever you prepare a dashboard, you must get into the shoes of the entrepreneur or the chairperson and understand and try to figure out what he or she is looking for. Every entrepreneur is different. Some of the entrepreneurs have realized they're very focused on, let's say, fixed cost. I have worked under a chairman and Hindustani, but I would not name him. He was very focused on travel expenses. So believe me, yeah, it is true. And he became the chairman of a company. So therefore, if the chairman wants to know, he's focused on travel cost, or dashboard में travel cost भी डाल दो ना, because that is what he or she is looking for. So एक तो हमारा तरफ से 4-5 चीज बता दो, और उसका तरफ से 2-3 चाहिए तो लगा दो, वही डैशबोर्ड हो गया और क्या है.
Right.
And dashboard should always be in comparison to last year previous period. Let us say you are doing a dashboard for Q1 of 2020, which is April, May, June. You should have dashboard for the April, May, June 2019. A dashboard will always have a comparison, either comparison to a budget or comparison to a previous year time पे हम क्या किया था. Without a comparison, dashboard has no meaning. So always compare either your budget or standard or a previous year or previous period. Then your dashboard is done. कुछ नहीं है, very simple. और डैशबोर्ड कभी उसका पीछे आईटी वाईटी में खर्चा मत करना, वो एक्सेल स्प्रेडशीट में बन जाता है. I have worked for company with 40-45,000 crore of turnover. Excel spreadsheet dashboard work the best.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have one question. We all are being a CA from Bhuj or Gandhidham or Anand. What I feel, all small town CAs are equally knowledgeable. But what we lack is maybe exposure or a vision of big firms and the things like we talk about blockchain and AI. We all know about that, but we don't have that much exposure or a vision. So how to improve that vision or have that exposure being in smaller towns? Means by reading books or maybe what are the ways from which we can improve our vision and have experience which we are lacking?
It is a problem. You have a slight disadvantage for sure, but again, COVID has given us a huge opportunity. Now every big daddy is now on webinar. Every big daddy. The best of best speakers, the best of best experts are all in webinar. Had this COVID not taken place, you had to go to Delhi or Bombay to hear anybody, even including me, the poor speech which I gave for 45 minutes. I'm sure you wouldn't have sat in Bhuj or Anand to hear me. You had to come to Mumbai. But today, sitting there, you are able to hear. And that's the big advantage. Harvard Business School, London School of Economics, Sloan Institute of Management, Chicago School of Management, all of them are giving their best management courses all on webinar. It was not there 3 months back. Sitting there, now you can actually be exposed to this vision, the way they are thinking. You have heard me for 60 minutes. Some of it you will agree, some of it you will not agree. Of course, you cannot agree 100% of what I said, but some of it perhaps you will agree. Some food for thought would have gone in your mind. Similarly, if you now can hear practicing managers, practitioners, and all these top 20, 15 institutes of the world, you can actually do it sitting in your home. In my view, COVID has brought us a new opportunity, or vistas of opportunity for people who are in small towns. You don't need to go to a big town for now earning a living. You can sit there wherever you are and you can advise your client as well, because the client is now not expecting you to come to their office at all. So it is an advantage. Sorry, it is a disadvantage for sure, but I think it's a great advantage. Get exposed to what the world is thinking. Get exposed to, please read Financial Times. My humble submission. The finest newspaper in the world is read this newspaper. It will take about a month for you to get used to it. This Economic Times is a trash. It's YOLO journalism. Mint is a fantastic newspaper. So read nice, good newspapers. I wouldn't say read Economist. I think Economist is very tough. Their English is not very tough and it's too politics, not much of economics. But Financial Times, or if you can read New York Times, is fantastic. If you can read Harvard Business Review, which comes once in 15 days, it will also open your mind. All these management journals has case studies. They have 1 or 2 case studies. Solve those case studies or read them and see how they have solved. Again, it will enlarge your vision. In 3-4 months' time, you yourself will see that you are thinking differently. Knowingly, unknowingly, you will start thinking differently. We have to work towards it. There is no other option but towards work towards it. You see, you people have the qualification. Now you need to get an experience. Experience, you need to hasten the experience. The hastening of the experience is to be exposed to it. You can now get exposed sitting in your own home, which was not an possibility earlier. The possibility is now there today.
There is another suggestion like regarding this. Means at the time of being student and CA time, we were used to do articleship. But once we clear CA, there is no other way in which we can have experience. So if institute can devise some system where CAs from smaller town can go to big firms and have experience like we were doing in articleship, so we can have exposure of working style of big firms, what are they thinking and how they are working. So it can be very helpful post qualification also.
First of all, of course, you have spoken to the wrong person. I am not an elected representative of the institute, neither in the central council. I think there are a few of you around here. But what you are saying is true. But sir, I'm telling you, it is not going to happen. It is because it is impractical thing to happen. So forget that. It's like I told you I'm the CIA chairman for Western India Finance and Tax Committee, the SME sector. I'm also in the board of SME Chamber of Commerce. So the SME sector keeps telling me all the time that why can't we work in large industries, get experience? Why can't the government give us opportunities to provide them with consultancy for 6 months free of cost? It's not going to happen. It is a good thought to have, but it doesn't happen anywhere in the world. It's not going to happen. So it's nice to talk. People might say, "Ha, main koshish karunga," but in my view, it's not going to happen. But there are now ample avenues to enhance your vision and enhance your knowledge. Ample avenues. Please don't bother about that how I can work for Big 4 or Big 6. You will work for Big 4 or Big 6 or Big 10 on your own rights. Moment your vision and your explanation and your ability to be confident enhances in 3 to 6 months' time. We'll be very happy to take you. And my phone number I have given already.
Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time and your expertise subject. Now over to Sanjay bhai.
Thank you.
Sanjay bhai.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful session. Looking forward, I will like to request Hiral Prajapati, Secretary Anand Branch, for vote of thanks.
Jai Bharat to all. On behalf of Bhuj, Gandhidham and Anand branch, I thank to C. Robin sir for providing us new thoughts for alternative revenue opportunities. Sir, many thoughts were out of box thinking thoughts. Thank you very much for the same. I thank to all the management committee members of all the 3 branches for supporting today's webinar. I thank to all the participants for today's webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.